And thank you so much for coming. I know this is a Friday afternoon and we have a wonderful weekend ahead of us, hopefully without snow. Today's live talk show will be in English because we are international and we're in Canada.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, and here we are, episode 2 for anything live talk show. You can see anything Lila with the 2, eyebrows. That's like dark blue. We designed this today, and it's live today. So I have with me wonderful panelists and guests, Kelly, Haider, and Ina. I'll let them introduce themselves, and before I forget, my name's Alice, and I'll be your host today. And I'm the co-founder of Anything Career, and really look forward to this talk show. So without further ado, I guess Kelly can get.
My name is Kelly. Actually, I'm working in this building and hired by nomad, which is a subsidiary of Great West Life and Power Financial. So, how do you like this building?
So fancy.
Thanks. This building was built around 100 years ago. We should take this kind of experience to ensure our clients to build a solid financial planning. So, I'm a financial planner here. That's it. Thank you.
Okay.
My name is Haider Rana. I'm currently working as a wealth advisor at Scotia Wealth Management. Basically what that means is I do investing for high net worth individuals, businesses, anybody with investable assets that needs that customized approach where we can build unique portfolios for whatever their investment objective is. Prior to that, I was working in equity research. And before that, I was finishing up my MBA. That's where I actually know Alice and Ina from. Before that, I was at TD. So I just making my way around the bank soon.
You have more to go.
So similar to Haider, I was in the bank as well. I was in TD as well for a long time. I'm currently the VP of Bay Street Group. If you haven't heard of it, it's one of the largest real estate broker branches in Canada. We have about 700 people strong as of today. And the broker only started about not even 4 years ago. So I was part of the founding team for that company. And now just being able to observe how the company has grown really rapidly has been a very, very cool journey. So yeah, glad to be here. And I'll pass it back to you.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So I guess today with us, we have students from different universities. Just to get to know each other's background a little bit, I guess there are some people from UTM, University of Toronto, Mississauga, and Ryerson, UT St. George, York, and where?
Western.
Yeah, Western. Almost forget because it's all the way in London, Ontario. Okay, so with this background, and I guess everyone is interested to learn more about financial services, I think it's fair to start this panel with a very high level question to get a lay of the land. I guess I'll just post it for the next 30 minutes, it will be me asking questions that we've discussed potentially would be beneficial, I think, for all of you. And for the last 15 minutes, we'll open the floor and you guys can ask all the questions that you have. So first question, really easy for all of you. So take it away. What exactly is financial services? What's your take of it?
Good, Kelly, you can start. Yeah.
You don't have to start all the time. But
When talking about financial service, we're talking about governance, risk management, alignment with client interest, and so many things. In terms of all kinds of financial instruments, tax plannings, estate planning. That's what I understand.
That's very good. I'm just going to take you one step back or even say that anything to do with money, whether it's borrowing, whether it's investing, anything to do with actually helping an individual and servicing them, that's the financial service piece comes in. So financial service companies have their products, and their consumers are the general public, which need either, again, we're very simplified, borrowing or investing, and they come in and provide that service for them.
Yeah, that's basically the gist of it. And well, just to expand on that a bit more, other than borrowing and saving, there's also ways to insure. Like the insurance companies are an important part of financial services. The borrowing and saving usually come from the banking sector, but the insurance is another big sector. There's also the buy-side investment firms like our teachers' pension plans, Canadian pension plans. They control a large amount of money, and they will be investing those money in different type of large projects. So that's another typical career path a lot of the people like to take is go that buy-side route.
And I guess I'm kind of in financial services because I work for a private equity firm right now, looking globally to buy some software companies. And I think this topic is really relevant, and that's why we want to bring it to you guys, because without you realizing or not, we are in touch with financial services every single day. The money that we use, mostly they are in banks. Hopefully, they're not in your closet, they're not in your ceiling or things like that. Those are, the commercial banks that you're dealing with, the retail bank. Really, the first step, maybe you will get in touch with financial services, and once you become wealthier, you will get access to, planner and the wealth manager, and maybe you buy some real estate whatsoever. So it's really relevant, and I think some of you guys are really interested to get into this industry. And my next question would be, what really triggered you guys to get into this industry and get to where you are today? What's behind this? Is it by chance? Is it by plan? And I saw that Kelly is looking over there, so maybe it's fair for Nina to start.
Oh, go ahead. Sure. So I start. So basically, my career started in the banks, and then having worked about 5-6 years at banks, I have done risk management, product management, and also part of that is people management. So it was a pretty good 6 years in the bank. I was able to see about 3 very different areas in the bank. And from there, I decided to pursue my MBA part-time. And during that, I wanted to try something else, right? I feel like working in the banks is great. It's a great start of a career. It gets you a lot of experience that's needed for later success in life. It's the foundational skills. However, I always wanted to start my own business. So that's where we actually was able to meet the co-founders of the startup. It's a biotech startup for today still runs in the Mount Sinai Hospital just next door from here. That's where I spent another year and a half in the startup space, where I really learned what it's like to be working on your own. And it's a small team, you're responsible for everything. You learn that everything you learn in the banks is so small. There's so much more to learn when you're running a business. And from there, talking to the startups, I was able to find the CEO of my current company, who only had 2 other people who wants to join her at the point. So I put my head down. We got the funding. We got about $1.5 million for the startup seed funding. So the startup was able to run on its own. So then I saw the opportunity in real estate. So that's where I jumped into the real estate startup company. So being the 4th member of the company, we started in the CEO's basement, kind of typical story. We actually spent a lot of months in the basement starting up. But then, one thing led to another. After 3-4 years, now the company has grown to about 700 people, like I mentioned earlier. So yeah, that was my kind of journey to get to where I am. And the key to the story is that I took a leap, right, from a very comfortable 6-figure job in the bank into a startup that pays you like half of that, and then again into a startup that pays you like none of that, right? You kind of have to make your own commission a lot of times. Now I have a lot more passive income, but back then I was like, you earn your own commission. So that was kind of a few transition steps that took some planning and a bit of risk. But being able to be part of a small company that grows to a bigger size and being an early member of that will give you that kind of exponential push in your career.
That's really neat. So don't be afraid to take some risks when you need to.
My journey was similar. Again, I can relate to the early time that had his banking career. So for me, I started off at TD. I was more out of undergrad. They had the on-campus recruitment, so I came in through there. Worked at TD for a couple of years. I started in the wealth management space, but again, not looking at the high net worth space, more at clients that didn't really have the sophisticated needs. And then from there, I moved on to, and then at that point, I realized that I wanted something different, something that more challenging, and that's really what triggered my passion or my interest in the MBA. So came into the MBA with a plan of getting into capital markets, and again, after my first year, I was able to get into the capital markets division. Was learning a lot, loving my exposure I was getting. But the one thing I kept missing was the client piece, because again, I was doing more the back office stuff, doing a lot more research. Than any type of exposure you get to clients is for really senior people. So the managing director was the only one getting any type of exposure to clients. And again, that's just a functionality of the role that you're in. And then at that point, this opportunity at Scotia came up, where I got the opportunity to actually be client focused and have the investing piece as well. So it was really just emerging with both areas, and it was the perfect fit at that time. So I've been at Scotia for about 3 years. So far, so good. And one advice I would give you is, some similar to what Ian said, don't be afraid of opportunities. If you've got a plan or an idea in your head that you want to pursue, definitely pursue it. And if you get to that point and realize that's not what you wanted to do, again, you're also young, you can almost make a change in what's something that suits to your liking.
For me, actually, I had been in the wealth management industry for almost, more than 10 years. So always similar industry. After my graduation from MBA program, I joined this company because for business owners and families, concerns on how to concerns on asset appreciation, risk management, and tax efficient investment continue to rise. And my expertise is to provide focus on strategic financial advice in terms of insurance, annuities, all kinds of how to choose tax shelters. Here in Canada, we Chinese community serve as good financial service as the local people. So that's why I'm here and hired by this company. Yeah, because people should take the advantage of local financial system and local tax system to get your financial goals.
Yeah, if you have any questions about financial goals, how to increase your wealth whatsoever, these are the people that you should be talking to. And well, that's very interesting. I learned to take risks. I learned to take opportunities. I learned to not to be afraid. I learned that I need to be people oriented if I want to. I guess this is not really your typical day. Like after work on a Friday, you came here to this nice little building and to chat with all the students here and live through, I don't know how many are online right now, but so my question really is, what's your typical day? Is there one? Can you share some, some fun stuff, interesting stuff with us?
I guess I'll take the first one now. We've all got one.
Nice.
Take my 13.
Yeah, exactly. My typical day is the one thing that I do really enjoy about my job is that no day is the same. So even I'll give you an example for today. My day started at 7:30 in the morning. I was in the office.
Where am I? I got all of that.
And today was the RSP deadline, so a lot of clients were really pushing in to get their RSP deposits in. So I was in the office again, just making sure that everything was being done at that point. So I was in the office pretty much from 7:30 till 12 o'clock. And then at 12 o'clock, I hopped in my car, had a meeting out in Mississauga. So from 1 o'clock till 2:30, I was in my first meeting with the client. And then from 3:30 till 4:30, I was in my second meeting. And then I just drove right here to be here to be with you guys. And then even yesterday, I was out of the office half of the beginning of the day. The second half, I had a networking opportunity where it was an alumni reunion thing. So I attended that. And again, it's the good thing about the role that I'm in is I'm meeting new people at all times, and it's something that I enjoy. So it doesn't feel like I'm working. You're constantly meeting new people, and it's a great feeling. So my days constantly, it's different all the time. There's times when there's market volatility, that I'm in the office for 10 hours because, the phones are blowing up and clients want to know what's going on with the stock market. So it's really just based on whatever the day throws at you. So there's really no specific structure. So if you like variability and you like change and you're okay with things constantly moving at a fast pace, this is a very good opportunity.
For me, I always start to work after sending my son to his school. After that, I come to my office. Basically, client meetings, internal meetings, and documentation reports are most part of my work. So, doing risk management, risk analysis, and knowing my clients are always the first step. So, multi-task is a must. And sometimes prioritize your to-do list is also a must.
I hope you check off all the to-dos today because it's Friday.
I basically avoid to work nights or weekends.
Avoid work. That's a luxury.
That's it.
You're lucky. I only work on nights and weekends.
So 5 days off.
No, it's for us. I mean, there's I guess 3 parts of my job. Right? I'll talk about the client part first. That's where I work mostly nights and weekends because for most of you, I'm assuming you have something to do during the day, right? Like you go to school, you go to work. Unless you jump off during lunch, for 2 hours, you're unlikely to be able to do any real estate related activities during the day. So for my client work, it usually starts at like 4 or 5 o'clock and lasts until whenever we finish. My latest showing or offer presentation was at 3 a.m. When people lining up outside of the house and trying to submit their offers, that usually lasts very late. So I work until like 2, 3 a.m. often when the market is hot. Even now, we just put up one at Young Eglinton last week. On the weekend, again, that's where a lot of the clients do have time to come out and look at what they want to buy or other type of investment, pre-constructions. That's usually where all those events happens. So during the week, that's where the second part of my job comes in, is more management, because I do manage 3 teams in the company. One focus on the pre-construction, which is all the you see those condo towers, and they sell them before they're built. And the team is responsible for two parts. One is to manage the relationship with the builders. So I have to really up my golf game in the past few years because builders play golf. Like it's like police eat donuts, right? That's what they do. So a lot of during the day, I sometimes wake up at 6, right, to catch a tea time at 7 a.m. With one of the builders. And then we usually play a night hole until like 9 or 10 a.m. And then we get on with our jobs. It doesn't really affect our day, but we have that morning golf session, which I quite enjoy. It's a better part of my job. And then usually during the day, lots of phone calls and lots of driving because we are always running around. Whether I'm managing a team or seeing clients, it's a lot of driving. So if you hate driving, don't get into real estate. And I know people who have got into real estate and quit just simply because driving downtown drives people nuts.
Maybe the autonomous vehicles can help solve that.
Yeah,
Sooner or later.
I hope that comes soon.
Yeah.
I have a client working for Google X Lab, and he said it's coming in 5 years.
5 years.
Yes,
So that's okay.
Yeah, it's
They
not
should
bad.
probably be still alive
Should be still,
and energetic.
hopefully, not that old. So that's the second part of my job, right? The third part of my job is kind of outside of real estate, is where I count my extracurricular activities. I do teach a real estate investment course in college. So the next round of classes starting April 4th. And it only costs you about $700 or something like that. So if you're interested, sign up. It's a 15-hour course. It will teach you everything you need to know about real estate investment, from like the very basic to more advanced stuff. I did take real estate in my MBA as well as kind of like major. So that gives me more confidence in my structural structure of knowledge to be able to offer that holistic experience for the clients. And also I'm on the board for a startup as well, for a tech startup. They do student tutoring, so I see a lot of your students. So if you're looking for online tutoring, that startup we're launching in May is going to have online tutors for most of your classes across Canada, most of the courses. So that's
Definitely a good salesman.
well, you capture every opportunity, right?
Yeah, we didn't talk about this at all. I probably won't let him say this. Just kidding. Great variety of days. I felt like I just try to visualize myself in any one of your days. It's very different from mine.
What's your day like, Alice?
What's my day like? I'm not. I'm a host.
We're just switching it up.
Okay, out of respect, I'll answer your question. My day. I guess I'll talk about mine today. I try to wake up at 6:30, but the alarm snooze quite a bit to 7. I woke up, make breakfast, and got out of my car, had a call with Kathy for half an hour, got into my office and had a call with a guy, with the CEO of the company that we bought in Europe, in Denmark, with my CFO, talking about how he can improve his business to get more sales, to be more efficient, so that it can be more profitable. And after that, talk a bunch with my CFO regarding the future plans of our current 80 businesses globally. Software companies, what kind of common characteristics that they have that make them successful and that make them fail. Caught up with my boss along the hallway, chat a little bit about his trip to London and my potential trip to Brazil coming up in April, in end of March, to look into to help 2 acquisitions that we recently bought in the transit space in Brazil, to set up some strategy meetings and to instill some of our thinking into how they can execute globally. And after that, went back to my desk, had to put up some analysis for a Danish guy again, maybe Danish or somewhere in Europe, Northern Europe to help some planning in terms of where their business are going, because we're doing a mega event with over, I think, 700, 800 people will show up for a week in London, England, in September this year. And after that, some light part of my day, one guy, colleague is having a birthday, so we went out for dim sum. He's a Caucasian Canadian, but he felt like having some dim sum. Maybe because I'm in the team. So we went to have some dim sum and came back for another meeting with the US CEO, talking about how to improve his business and work on a bunch of analysis after that, and type my notes for today. Came here, drove park, and here I am. And after this, going to birthday party, and I need to send out my analysis tonight after the birthday party if I'm still awake. That's my day.
It's pretty good.
Pretty easy day. So that's my typical day. Not really. Every day is different, just like everyone else's. And I don't feel like working.
Yeah.
Same as Haider. Hopefully, you guys too. Just felt like work-life integration. There's not really balance, to be honest.
Sounds like we all have no life.
Well, at least Alice been going to parties.
There's a ramen alumni session I don't know about. So next time we'll catch up. The next question really is, I guess many people could take different roles in life. But self-awareness is always key, because you get to choose what you want to be a part of, or what role you want to play in for the future. This question is more philosophical and soul-searching, not meant to scare you guys at all, but really maybe an interview question. What do you think differentiates you from other people in this space? Why you?
Who wants to take that one first?
My turn now? Why me?
Walk me through your resume.
Well, it depends on what perspective you are coming from, because I wear many different hats. From a builder perspective, why not us? We have 700 people. You don't want us not to sell your project. But from our client's perspective, a lot of my client base is young professionals. If you ever have a chance to come across my LinkedIn, you will see that most of my clients and their feedback, they all come from younger professionals. I would say 70% of my client base. Having been through the professional jobs in my life, I understand expectations from professionals in terms of the level of expertise and professionals you'd expect from somebody that helps you with the single largest investment in your life, right? Whether it's buy a house or your investment, real estate is not cheap, especially in Toronto. So you want somebody who can deliver what you expect. So I speak the same language with a lot of the professionals, and that right away established the trust part, right? And also because for you to want to work with someone, there's two factors people consider. One is this person competent, right? And the second is this person trustworthy. So having had professional background, definitely it's easier to prove that you're competent because you've had all this professional background and you had 5 years of experience working in this space and having had many good customer feedbacks. But the trust factor, I feel that is more important to have. And having had that professional background, when I sit down with a prospect, even if I haven't met that person before, if we're able to connect on a level where they understand my professional background, we can actually quickly connect in that aspect and we'll establish the trust factor.
Sure. I'll go second. What makes me different? I would say what really differentiates me, like I said, financial services is a massive industry, especially in Toronto. There's so many different facets to it. I'll talk a little bit more about my group and what we do. So again, like I said, we focus on the wealth management, so the investment management of individuals, of institutions, of any client that has sophisticated needs. So one thing that we really pride ourselves on is always watching out for the downside. Something that my personal philosophy is, and it aligns into this, is that I'm not shooting for the stars. I'm not shooting for 30% return in a year. The idea that I'm going for is pension style investing. Every year we grow that portfolio. So, and just the investment approach that I bring to the table. I don't overpromise and saying that I'm going to be getting you, the ridiculous returns, but I'm going to say that every year your portfolio is going to go up. That's what the idea is behind the investment philosophy that I bring to the table. So it's not going to be doing this. It'll be steady, just slowly. So that's the one thing that really differentiates my investment style. And again, when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, the specifics, there's so many things that come down to, looking at fundamentally, and it could be back to my background, looking at fundamentals of companies, looking at their financial statements, and then really picking out investments that over the long run will get you a positive return. So again, just bringing that expertise and my experience, similar to what you had said, bringing that to the table is something that differentiates me. In our industry, my industry, there's a lot of people that are out there that will not be coming in with the same level of experience or expertise, and even their investment philosophy. The idea is to just get the client in and just put them into one of the buckets that they decide for you. Whereas I really don't believe in that approach. Every client has their own unique investment objectives. Why should a 71-year-old have the same investment portfolio as a 25-year-old? They both have different investment objectives. Why would we invest them both into the same thing? So the one thing that I bring to the table is, that new perspective of just making it unique to the client, making it unique to the person. So far that's something that the clients have loved so far. And then again, because of my background, I can get very technical with the client as well. I've got some very sophisticated clients that want to get really nitty and gritty, but like you said, I speak their language, right? So it's easy to have that, people that connect to that same level. So yeah, that's something, again, making sure doing what's right for the client, making it unique and making it something that's going to really benefit them.
For me, I'm a professional to give people financial advice, not insurance or mutual fund salespeople. So if you're concerned, sometimes you don't know what kind of financial product you need, or you just come to me with your concerns. I'll give you a whole picture. I will take the advantage of 100 years client service experience to give you an example, or to basically give you a whole picture to help you to build things to mitigate your financial risk, to separate your family assets with your business assets, such as these kind of things. And if you come to me, actually not only access to me, you're accessing a whole team, including lawyers, tax experts, estate planners, and so on and so forth. This kind of resource is not so open to everybody. And so I keep my client pool as a small one to ensure them get all-rounded services. So basically, this is how to differentiate myself.
Don't ask me that question because I won't answer. but I saw some common themes right here. It's really about speaking your client's language. It's really about being able to build good relationships with people. Because at the end of the day, for this part of the role that we all play, and we got to work with people. We're not at the age yet where we work with machines and machines will determine things for us, right? So we're not there yet. Even the autonomous cars, the freaking cars not driving by themselves yet.
You want to get there. But imagine, right? One day when you go to a hospital, it's a machine that gives you a pill, right? Do a scan of your body, tell you a symptom, and here's a pill, go eat it.
Yeah.
Are you actually going to eat that pill? Right? With no human intervention.
Yeah.
It's a scary
Sounds lonely. Sounds like a lonely planet that we are trending towards. Not exactly sure, if that's what I want, but I don't think we'll get there. At least not in my lifetime. I hope. But some common characteristics is that you're thinking from others' point of view. You're trying to build a trust by showing some empathy, by showing some understanding, and to connect with people. I think that's a very valuable skill set to have, regardless of what industry you're in, whether it be in financial services or in something else. You better be a very people person if you can. So I guess I kind of answered my next question. How can I, as a student or young professional, to succeed in this profession? In the emotional side, or in the I don't know, not technical side, soft skills side, or maybe there are more to add. If you guys have any thoughts on that. So, as student and young professional, how can they prepare themselves to be successful? If they are not as goal oriented as you guys, if they are not as well prepared as you guys, any advice in terms of how they can prepare themselves for success?
One thing that really, because now I'm part of the recruitment process where I go back to universities, and then you see a lot of students coming up.
So he's a good guy to know.
I probably should not have said that.
Well, I keep that in mind.
Yeah. One thing you really want, you see some students will really come in and showcase their passion, that they really want the opportunity. And, there's so many different ways of showcasing that. If you want to be somebody working in the financial service side where you're dealing with investment instruments, or you're dealing with the products that are related to the stock market, you have to be a student of the stock market. Even if you have your portfolio, which is a mock portfolio, it's not a real actual dollar value, but you come in and you showcase that to an employer or a recruiter. That shows that you genuinely care. You're doing this. You're not making any money off this. It's not your own personal portfolio, but you're dedicating time and effort. And that, it's just really giving the employer the understanding that, hey, this is what I want to do. And this is the proof. The proof is in the pudding. So that's something, it's just genuine passion. And if you're passionate about something, it'll come. The other person will see. And if it's really just about showcasing your passion. So yeah, that's one thing that I would say is really important. If you want to do something, you want to pursue it, figure out what way that is, and showcase that to a company or employer or an investor, whatever you're trying to do, showcase it.
Similar to what Haider said, just like yourself and project it to the whole world, especially to your clients. That's it.
Yeah, so I think I'm a little bit different from their job, so I'm going to speak from a slightly different perspective. To most people in real estate, real estate has a lot of different sectors. I'm on the broker side, buy and sell, but there are many sectors of real estate. If you want to work in finance, right, work and real estate, or work in the REITs. But if you want to actually build houses or condos, work for the builders. If you want to work in the commercial space, then work for those large commercial brokers, or those like Fairview, like Cadillac. Those are all really large real estate institutional players, right? The biggest real estate brokers are the lease companies, believe it or not. You think like buying and selling is sexy? The most sexy buying like companies in real estate space are not like Remax or like these are like secondary, right? The biggest players are actually in the commercial lease space, where they make hundreds of millions of residual income every day, but that's a different story. So for somebody who wanted to come into the real estate space in general, especially on the broker side, you need to be ready to take that uncertainty and stomach that fluctuation of your income. You cannot, if you want to come into space, don't be strapped for money, right? If you have like $50,000 of a student debt to pay, don't jump into this full time right away without any other backup, right? Because that is going to be risky. It does take time. I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy, right? Especially in the beginning. It does take a while. Once you have about 150, 200 transactions under your belt, then your clients naturally will support you to have a very good standard of living. But most realtors today make about 6 to 10 transactions per year. So it takes 10 years to make that 100 transactions, right? So that's it depending on timing as well, right? So that's just one advice is to be prepared financially when you jump into starting your own business. And also, if you are in this game for the long term, integrity is the most important factor, right? You have to be aggressive ambition of that, yes. But over long-term integrity is the key because in every transaction, there's going to be a winner or loser. And a lot of times you know that as a professional ahead of time. What would you have your client do, right? If you're strapped for money, you may push your client to do that one transaction. And then, so you can, make a living that way. But that might not be the right transaction for the client. And then you're not in it for a long term because 3 years later, when they look back, you gave the wrong advice and they're not going to vouch for you, right? You will lose that client. And then every happy client is so valuable to the business than one transaction. So how we actually do things is a lot of times at the beginning, we actually give clients like a session where, we're going to show you 10 houses and we're going to tell you what's wrong with them, right? So you learn actually how to pick out what's wrong with everything. So you become an expert through that educational process. It takes us longer to help the clients to make that transaction, but the client will guaranteed come out happy because when they come out, when they finally purchase something, they know why and they know they have learned through that process. So integrity is the key.
I didn't expect this question to bring up so many deep and touching points. There are a lot of small, tiny little nuggets that I can dive deeper into and to learn more. However, our time is a little limited. And I've heard passion, I've heard self-confidence and also projection to the world. Also heard integrity and be financially prepared, truly understand where you're going. My piece of advice very quickly is I simply, whatever industry you're in, just keep learning. Because this world is so big. When you felt like you've learned so much, I felt like you're in a losing game. Like you just, every day you need to refresh yourself. You need to constantly reskill, upskill, whatever skill that you need to pick up. Always stay curious. I think that's one of the fundamental piece or energy source that I have that gave me passion for life. I don't know what I'm passionate about. Like in general, I'm passionate about a lot of different things, but I'm passionate because I'm curious, and I think that's something that you guys can think about. So I'll ask one more question. I guess two. You can pick and choose one to just make it more fun, and after that, then you guys can answer both if you want. If you want to be nice or Canadian. And then after that, I'll open the floor up to everyone. Okay, so one of the two questions. First one, how should I consider? What should I consider when choosing my professional path? Should I be looking at 9 to 5, or should I be a slasher, nomad, entrepreneur, or non-typical career path? And second question is, do you have any role models or any inspiring books that you just cannot wait to share? You think everyone should read it, or else you are missing out?
I like to talk about my idol.
Your idol, sure.
Elon Musk
Elon Musk.
is really an inspiring.
He's on the news quite often.
Yeah. He's an incredible person. He does so many unbelievable innovations. Yeah. And about the books, actually there's so many. I would like to talk about the one I've read recently. The name is Low Risk, High Return. It's a book written by two portfolio managers in Europe.
Okay.
We also have a Chinese version, which you could get from Taobao.
Okay.
And this book is translated by one of my previous colleagues.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it tells you how to do your assets appreciation in a low risk way, you picking bonds or stocks.
低风险高的。
Yeah. Where read this one?
No, I just translated it.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. You can also
Cool. Great.
yeah, that's it.
I'll take the question before about
Career path.
career path. Yeah. One advice that I received from somebody very early on was, look for something that you really enjoy doing, you're really passionate about, because when you're doing something that you truly are passionate about, it doesn't feel like work anymore. So then it's not even a factor of 9 to 5. You can work 9 to 9 and you can still have so much energy at the end of the day because you're doing what you love. So find whatever that job or that opportunity or that idea is, and make it your full-time gig. Because honestly, if you're doing something you love, like Al said, there's no line in between. It just becomes your life, and it's so easy to just wake up in the morning and go into work because you're doing something you're really truly passionate about and you love. So it doesn't feel like that you're working. You're getting paid to do this, which is the greatest part. You're getting paid to do something you love. So that's the one advice I would leave with you guys: is find something that you love and make that your career.
I'll take the career one as well.
Nobody's so nice to take both.
Sure, I'll throw in the second question in the end. Okay, so for career, just to add, I'm not going to repeat the same things. I agree with all of that. Just to add a bit more to what to consider at different stage of the career. I see everybody in here, everybody's pretty young, right? So you're kind of at the early stage of your career. At this stage, I would say when you're facing choices, you are going to be facing choices, right? Whether you should go for grad school or MBA or take a job in a bank or like a 9 to 5 or start your own business. There are many options basically, or be an internet celebrity. Right? These days are pretty popular, like what we're doing now. So I would say in the beginning of your career, the most important thing is learning and be on a good platform, right? Because there is a reason why big companies are big, because they have established so much experience and their work have so much more impact. You can stand at a much higher point of view, understanding how the society works and how teams work together, how you work together with your colleagues, how your boss work together with their bosses and their bosses, how like a big organization works. So platform is important at the early stage of your career because it gives you that exposure, gives you experience that's needed for later success in life. Once you're a bit more experienced and you're ready to take it to the next level, of course, there's nothing wrong with staying in where you were and just keep going up if you enjoy what you're doing. But I'm going to say 50% of the chance you're not going to enjoy what you're doing. What you are doing after you graduate, and you're going to want to make a switch, right? And then MBA is a good way to make a switch. But other than that, what you should consider is when you're making that switch into a more permanent direction than your kind of early 5-6 years of exploration, you start to focus a bit more on looking for the right person to follow. You're no longer choosing just a platform. You want to follow the right person. Because if you want to be able to have a much bigger success than you've had before, just being on a platform will only take you so far. Following the right person, that person could be in the platform, right? Like a very successful person in that company, or going out, somebody you really admire, back to the model question, right? Follow your role model, right? Somebody you really believe that can take you somewhere. Well, somebody that can really go somewhere, and somebody who can actually trust you, right? You've established that trust over the years, and you can follow them where they're going. They have the same vision as you. That would be another important factor to consider when you're choosing the next step. Yeah, so that's about career.
Okay, that's great. I heard great things, and especially like the book that you read, like, Busy People. You're a mother as well, and you still have got time to read books, so we got no excuse not to read books, right? And Haider is like talking about his career with a big smile and with passion. And I'm so happy. My friend, my pal, is happy and making money as well at the same time. And I guess for Yinan, and he's very kind to answer those two questions. He didn't specify exactly who's your role model whatsoever. But
obviously my boss. Right?
I'm curious to meet your boss someday. Like to me, I do have a little thing to share as well, and maybe I'll bring it back a little bit to why. So I'm working full time as a senior strategist for my boss, who is my role model in a way, someone that I choose to follow, because good leadership really change things. He has over 6,000 people under him. He's the CEO of a very prominent company, and still has a lot more potential to grow. Along with one of the biggest, highest market cap out there. I won't name the name just because I know that we are live. Just to keep him, secret, so that he can remain my boss. But I really second with your point, being that a true leader can really inspire you in a lot of ways, and inspire your loyalty, inspire you to motivate you to work harder, and to always think of new ways to push yourself. So that's my full-time gig, and part-time gig is anything career. That's what really has been occupying a lot of our time. Eddie is a co-founder of Anything Career, and our team is here, awesome, beautiful team. We are fast growing, and we really want to make change happen. And this is the banner, I think, really reflects. We are your career navigator, and we really want to make it happen. We want to help you to uncover and unlock your full potential, so that you can be who you are. You can shine in your own skin and be happy about it, especially as Asians or young professionals or students that are lost, or you have some ambitions. If we can help you accelerate your career a little bit more, we're happy to be there. And that's the true reason why we're doing this. We're not strapped by money. Luckily, we check that box. We're doing it a lot out of passion. Luckily, we check that box. It's low risk, but also high return. Might not be one money-wise, but hopefully someday, because we're not looking after money. We're looking to help more people, to really build a community that we'd like to see happen. So in a way that we try to fix some of the things that career centers didn't do well, or things that we think could be better. So thank you so much for coming to Anything Lila. I think it's a live talk show. It's the second series, and now I'm gonna open up for some questions. I guess I'll take 3 because. Or 2, maybe 1. Okay, I'll take 2. because Haider has to step out a little bit. We're running a little late. Any questions? Just shout it out. Oh, you have one?
So I know you guys are pretty have a very, I would say, dynamic, different day. And how in the morning? How would you? What are the things that you do to prepare your day to go smoothly?
I can take that one. One of the books I read early on, Power of Habit. I don't know if anybody's read it, but it's a really good book. One thing I always start up my day with is I get out of bed and then I'll make my bed right off the bat because that just gets you on that task of getting things done. So mentally it prepares you to take on the rest of the day. Honestly, I'm starting at home and I'm reading through the news and financials, but that's more on the job. So I'm just catching up on everything that's happened. So I spend usually my morning half an hour just catching up on news. Over time you build this routine that once you get out of bed, you start doing these different tasks, and by the time you get into the office or you get into school or whatever it is, you've already completed 15 or 20 different tasks. And you've accomplished so much that the next 30, 40 tasks you have to do just become that much easier, it's just more flow. So you never get overwhelmed because you're just checking off all these different things. So that usually helps me a lot in the morning.
For me, can I say it's my son come to my room, screaming actually, "Mom, it's time to get up!" I get up and prepare breakfast and lunch for him. And basically in my mind, I prioritize everything what I'm going to do today. So this is how I prepare for my day. Every day.
It might take some time to get to the sun. So might not be applicable, right?
In case you're not a morning person like Haider, or like me, who works later into the nights, I do the preparation the night before, right? So especially check the calendars, like what exactly do you have the rest of the week. A lot of things you're going to be doing, especially if you're running a business, there are things you have to plan days ahead of time. You cannot schedule a meeting on the same day, right? And whether there's any conflicts, it's better to know them earlier than later. So night before, organize your next day or next week is quite important. And Sunday night, don't go out and party. Try not to. Sunday night is where kind of you prepare for the week, right? The best time to prepare for the week. Take an hour just to really think through the week. What are the important things? Cancel the meetings you don't need to have. Be very careful of your time, because for us, like, time is money. Really, our time is money, right? We're no longer paid by our hour. We're getting paid by results. So whatever action does not translate to results is a waste of time. So plan your week so that you focus on the most important things first, and do that the night or the week before.
It's really neat. I have something too, if you want. I also make my bed. It's become like a routine to me, and I felt so annoyed or something's missing.
Yeah.
Like I'll make it if I don't make my bed. And then I also try to minimize my decision making in the morning. I try not to think what to eat. So for so many times in a row, until I ran out of my cereal, I've been eating cereal and milk and bananas. It's fast, quick, easy. Maybe put some blueberries in it if I had them. But I'm open to changes as well. Some people have some add-ons. I'm happy to take them. I think those are two tips that I have. So we'll take one more question from this side. Okay.
Feel free not to answer it.
Oh wow.
Going before him.
It's a great opening.
Okay,
next question.
What is it that you hate the most about your job?
I really hate.
Oh wow, she answered first. Just pick the one that's the most hate, right?
I really hate people cancel the meeting appointment at the last minute.
Wow. Yeah.
It happens sometimes, but I live in life.
We're live, so I'm gonna skip that question.
Tricky.
Well, I'll say something politically correct. I hate being late. Right? I think being late is just, I mean, you can't avoid it. Like sometimes you have to, but then I just don't like people who don't, give a heads up, hey, I'm going to be late. And that happens a lot of times. You kind of get used to it. It still remains my pet peeve.
I hate when I have some strategy, but I couldn't execute it, or the team couldn't execute it. I felt disappointment. I have to constantly adjust my expectation and restructure teams if you have to. Cool. I think that's it for tonight and for episode 2 for Anything Life Talk Show. And I hope you all enjoy it. You've all had some key takeaways. Not if you agree, and nobody nods. And we will continue to have this on a monthly basis. Next time we'll work with PIEC, which is the younger professional type of association that originated from one of my friends, founded by one of my close friends from Ramen. We're going to talk about maybe some self-exploration. We're still deciding the topic, and we'll let you know in due time. And thank you so much, panelists, for coming. And Friday, I know it's not easy, and hopefully this is a good start to Friday night. I'm sure there are parties coming up. And thank you for giving us this wonderful, wonderful space. It's truly nice downtown. I've been in Mississauga, and I feel so honored to be in a building downtown right now, even though I live here. And I think, Kathy, you might have something to share about some of our products in a minute or two. If you guys have time, then we'd love to.
If you guys are interested,
to go through this very quickly with you guys. Just something that the team has spent a lot of time really thinking through from the customer's point of view, what would be beneficial for you all.
okay, there we go. So this is a high-level summary of 5 products that we're selling right now. And the ultimate goal of our product is to help students and young professionals to define their strength and weakness and match their strength and interest with the right career and put them into the right path. So this slide, the top 5 products are mainly for students. The first one is our one-on-one coaching, and it's our flagship product. So the first step is to help you navigate, help you define which industry you're interested in. If you are kind of lost, you're in first year university, second year university, you don't know what your options are out there, we can help you to meet with industry professionals and talk about what's like a talk show like this to understand what's the daily work life looks like, and then also to help you prepare for interviews, whether it's behavioral interview or technical interviews, or help you to mock case interviews if you want to get into consulting or investment banking or other business analyst roles, and et cetera, technology. So we have a pool of more than 25 mentors within the company. Right now they're available, very eager to help students and young professionals. The second one is we have established more than 15 partners, and we're still ongoing trying to reach out to boutique firms, other consulting firms and industry players. So we're constantly trying to prepare our students and send them to our partners, whether for internship or for full-time jobs. So our some of the opportunities coming up for this summer are, for example, digital marketing, technology consulting firm, or private equity firm if you're interested, venture capital and data analytics. So the third one is simulation programs. So simulation programs are designed, or the intention is to give you a sense of Big Four lifestyle. or give you a sense of investment banking lifestyle. So before you get into the company, so the simulation programs are designed solely in the same way as how you will approach a client, how you will engage a client, and do a project within the big companies, like consulting company or investment banking companies. And the simulation program runs between 2 months to 4 months. You will be formed within a group of 3 to 5 people, and everything will be led by a project engagement manager, and similar as how we do it in the big companies. The fourth one is global projects. So we have some other opportunities where players are in China or in Vienna, and they want to do some global expansion. They want us to help with like global expansion strategy. How do they launch their products in different areas? How do they launch with global projects? So basically, you help them define the strategy and you help them to implement. The program length varies, depends on what kind of customer, what clients you're engaged with. The fifth one is some other stuff that we do. One is like anything live, right? So we put people together, give them some career tips and business weekly business insights. So we send out, if you add our account, you can see our business insights, what's happening on a global wide, what company acquired what, and some other like stuff is going on. And the third one is networking events. So we're gonna continue to host a lot of events in Toronto. And welcome to join and meet other professionals and learn other opportunities of your interest. And the fourth one is the info sessions. We're currently designing. One is a resume workshop. Second is how to do proper networking. We're gonna launch those workshops, info sessions in different schools, campus across Toronto in the next couple of months. Before your next month.
This month.
This month.
It's March already.
It's March 1st.
Yes.
Before your final exam, for sure. And we also have some membership opportunities if you want a bundle of everything. Yeah. We have the QR code on the previous page if you're interested, or if you want to learn one of the internship opportunity or coaching, anything, you can just scan the QR code and then contact. We can give you some information.
Thank you for putting this together. A lot of hard work. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I was in the pipeline meeting and I was like, oh, I have to do this.
By the way, she forgot to introduce herself. She's a very senior person in M&A at PwC doing deals, M&As. So thank you.
So you are colleague of Sally?
Which division are you? PwC deals.
Which
divisions?
DD?
Yeah.
Oh, DD.
Yeah.
So you're
I think it's continue for
18, right?
Yeah.
Small.
Small.
I meant to connect you guys way earlier, but
Now
today,
it's valid correction.
yeah, but thank you so much, guys, for coming, and this is the end of it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any one of us, and we'll open up for networking for a little bit longer, for another like 20 minutes, since we have the room booked to 8 p.m. And if you do have to go, feel free. Thank you so much for coming.
Of course, yes, for having us.